Before we roll with Stephanie, I just wanted to remind you, if you'd like some weekend viewing about what might be ahead for the United States, this is an accumulation of the material that I've been studying with Robert Glasscock, and we take a look at the natal chart and a couple of solar arc charts and the transits shot in some of the beautiful country around here in North Carolina. It's on the homepage, funastrology.com. Okay, Stephanie, let's roll. Welcome in to the Saturday edition, September 18th version of the Fun Astrology podcast. Thomas Miller along with Stephanie Vickers. Hi, Stephanie.
Hi, Thomas. Happy to be back with you.
Well, and, you know, if people have been having a little bit of a tough week, we had Scorpio moon last weekend, but boy, we have on our calendar talking about medical astrology with the moon in, are you ready for this, Sagittarius.
Woo woo.
Yay. We get to smile and be happy today.
Yes, Sag is all optimistic and fun. It's ruled by Jupiter, so it's very lively and adventurous. So we've got some fun things here to discuss for those that have a Sag moon. So these individuals, they have a vital force that's really outwardly. It can sometimes be scattering and restless, and it can act as a stepping up transformer to the life force or the sun. So these are really revved up people. They are a mutable fire sign, so need things to be spontaneous and flexible and changeable. So anything too restrained or with too much pressure is going to deplete their vitality. Areas of health focus for them are the liver, lower spinal nerves, including sciatic nerve, arteries, hips, sacrum, coccyx, buttocks, thighs, and voluntary muscles. These individuals need to move. They can find it incredibly difficult to sit still and rest. They really need that mental but also physical excitement. If they can't be physically active, they can actually get really on edge and anxious. These natives absolutely need a daily exercise routine. In general, most Sages love sports and athletics, but really any kind of activity that gets them moving, especially something that involves their hips and legs, is really going to be helpful for them. If they do have a sedentary or a mainly sedentary lifestyle, what can happen is that muscular fire will migrate to their nervous system. And this will cause issues like restlessness, insomnia, possible addictions, and mental maladies. So like I mentioned earlier, really incredibly important that they move their body daily. The physical issues will show up if they don't allow free movement of their body. But it's important for them not to push themselves beyond their individual physical limits to prevent overuse and injury. Sciatica can be really common for these individuals, so being very mindful of proper body mechanics, form, and watching out for overdoing anything, and especially if that is in aerobic or weightlifting type activities. Best prevention for sciatica really is strengthening the buttocks and thighs, and this helps with hip stabilization. So doing things like resistance training, even if you are using, 2-pound weights, very light weights, or resistance bands, which we can all use at home, can help tighten the glutes, the quads, and hamstrings. Nerve impingement happens when an area is overly tight and weak. So by training the areas I just mentioned regularly, it can really help ward off not just sciatica, but lower back and knee pain, which a lot of people struggle with. Really important to incorporate daily stretching and lengthening after physical activity just to keep that muscle tightness away. So doing things like static stretching after you exercise, yoga, and Tai Chi can be really helpful. Sag Moon natives are drawn to foreign or different health modalities, as Sagittarians are in general. So trying something Eastern, if you're Western born, or vice versa, can be really exciting and rewarding. Like Taurus and Scorpio, the thyroid can be sensitive in this placement, usually more so in a hyper or over-functioning manner, and there's a tendency towards Graves' disease. So essential to support thyroid and also immune system health, since Graves' disease is an autoimmune disease. Sag Moon natives love to do things big. They're really larger than life. So being mindful, though, that this can sometimes lead them to burnout and exhaustion, foolish mishaps, and insomnia. They are just so excited and consumed with an activity that they can get carried away, and these individuals can go sometimes days without sleep. Really important to ensure that they're getting proper sleep every night. Balancing that mental and muscular activity is vital for them. And then a note of caution as well to stay away from excess caffeine if you're a Sag Moon native. Sagittarians in general love caffeine because it gives them a great boost and it can amp them up, but it can really further deplete the body, the adrenals, and exacerbate any existing insomnia. Also, want to watch out for alcohol and saturated fat intake. You want to keep that at a minimum. That'll help keep body inflammation lower and puts less stress on sensitive livers, which Sag Moon natives have. So overindulgence in alcohol, sugar, food, caffeine, these are things that they're drawn to because they hate FOMO, or fear of missing out. And they love to be a part of the party, and they have such great exuberance for life. But they really need to keep in mind the mantra, moderation is everything. That's the key for them. To further support optimal liver health, choosing things like organic over conventionally grown produce when possible, limiting artificial sweeteners, synthetic food additives and colorings, and looking into taking liver supporting supplements and herbs such as milk thistle, dandelion root, ginseng, beetroot, turmeric, and burdock root can be great. Of course, discuss with your healthcare practitioner though before you try. Some other things, not eating on the run, so proper bile flow and digestion can occur. Sag Moon natives are so active. They don't like to sit down and eat, and they want to go, and they can be guilty sometimes of eating on the run, but that really doesn't allow your body to get into that parasympathetic state where proper digestion can occur. And then eating lots of liver supporting foods, so things like that are rich in sulfur and choline, which your liver loves and needs for multiple physiological processes. Eggs, lentils, onions, garlic, cruciferous veggies like broccoli and cauliflower are really good. And then I want to mention it's really uplifting for them to include some exotic or foreign foods from different cultures in their diet from time to time. They really are the travelers of the zodiac, and that's incredibly limited right now with everything going on in our world in 2021. So incorporating something new and unusual from international cuisines can be a really fun outlet. And the flower essences that can be helpful for Sag Moon natives are vervain, which helps with physical and nervous system balance and moderation. Rabbit brush, which helps to focus on details and a bit less on big picture, because Sag can sometimes get lost in the bigger view of things and sometimes needs to come down to earth a little bit and focus on the smaller things. And then Angelica, which helps with grounding and bolstering faith during difficult life transitions or crises, which is currently what's going on in the world. So I only have my Uranus in Sag, but I use Angelica on a daily basis and find it's an incredibly powerful compound.
I think you just synthesized that perfectly.
I really got into what it feels like to be a Sag Moon native. I do have a dear friend that has a Sag sun, so not his moon, but he has a lot of these qualities, and they are amazing people to be around. They're incredibly uplifting. They're very fun. You know, you feel like you want to go on adventures with them.
Oh, absolutely. That's a great way to put it. But I think just from a classic, right up the middle way of synthesizing Sagittarius, you just did it beautifully. Thank you for that. That was applause is heard from the gallery.
Thank you.
All right. I've got a couple of thoughts here, so let's spin a few things around. And I'm going to surprise you. I haven't talked to you about this offline, so we're doing it right here in front of everybody. But I'm realizing that we only have 3 more signs to go, so that's 3 more weeks. When we get through, would you be open to taking on some medical questions?
Yes, I would love to do that. And
all right.
I'm so glad that you're thinking ahead because, yes, we do. We only have 3 more signs left to go through. So I would love if the listeners could, do the speak pipe or send an email, anything, obviously we can't diagnose on this podcast, but anything that they really want to know and how to support their body and physical and even mental well-being would be awesome.
Any question goes. We won't guarantee that we'll get to all of them, but if you would like to do that, then just like Stephanie said, go to the funastrology.com website, go up to the top and do the speak pipe, and you don't have to leave any information, even your email. It's all just wide open, just record and go. Please talk into your phone so we can hear you clearly. or just send an email to info@funastrology.com. We'd like to get those in the queue so that Stephanie can start preparing those answers as well. Now, the next thing, I was going down the list and I was thinking, okay, what about air? What about mutable? What about, eating on the run? I loved that. That was perfect because can relate to that one a little bit, even though I'm not there with Sagittarius. But what really came to mind was this. When you were describing the Sagittarian, so strong, fire energy, out there, life of the party, on the edge, characteristics, I think the biggest thing is not to make anybody wrong for the characteristics that are naturally inherent to them. So what you were saying is that Sages can run faster, farther, more furiously than most of us can keep up with. And they should be free to do that and supported to do that. Live free, be big.
Exactly. Beautifully put. Live free and be big. That's it. I feel like that just sums up Sag in general. No, we want to encourage and empower, these traits. Of course, there's the shadow side to every sign. But I think, like you were saying, incorporating all the elements and just noticing that this is how you are supposed to be. It's okay. It's good. And Sages in general, if you've ever met one personally or with someone that has a strong Sag placement in their chart, they're just really amazing people to be around. And they really do have that bigger than life persona. And I know for me personally, they're really good at driving up my inspiration. And yeah, usually they can do things a lot faster and farther than I can even go physically. But you just want to be around them. They have this wonderful energy, and that's a beautiful thing. It's not something to downplay.
Yeah, the chart is such a beautiful representation of all of these human characteristics. And when somebody exhibits those to what might be a little bit more than we like to put in our comfort boxes or our comfortable space, man, let them be, because the world needs your bigness right now, for sure. We need you. Inspire us, please.
Yes, yes.
All right, Stephanie, thank you so much for just an amazing job. Now, just like, remember when we were back at Libra and we had to say, now we have to deal with Scorpio. Well, we have to deal with Saturn's Capricorn next week.
Yes, that's right. And I actually have a Capricorn moon. So I am going to be bringing you very real and raw information that will apply to you if you have a Cap moon. And I can personally speak to a lot of things. And I think just like Scorpio, Cap can sometimes get a little bit of a bad rap, but there are some incredible qualities to it. So I look forward to bringing that next week.
Yes, there are indeed. My daddy was a Capricorn, and a beautiful soul he was. So we will unpack that, and we will give you guys great inspiration on Capricorn next week. Stephanie, thank you so much. Great having you here again, as always.
Thank you so much, Thomas. I really love doing these with you, and I am so happy that the listeners are finding this helpful. So thanks to all the listeners that tune in, and we will see you all back here next Saturday.